Hello, hello, and welcome, my friends, to the next video in the Create Better Content series, where I show you how to tap into your creativity so that you never run out of content ideas again. My name is Penny, and I'm going to be your guide through this unique and different creative content development process. I want to teach you how to create more remarkable content, more engaging content that's going to help you reach more qualified customers online. And if you want to learn more about creativity and how this can help you develop your content marketing plans, I would love to see you hit that button below and subscribe to this channel. And below in the description box, you are going to see a few links. One of the links that you're going to see is for my book called I Just Did a Thing. And in that book, even in my book, I go into more details about the science. I explain to you why tapping into your creativity not only helps with your content creation, but it can also give you a good path forward if you're making big changes in your business or even your personal life. Another link you're going to see down there is so that you can subscribe to the Create Your Business program, and you can personally go through this process of developing engaging content that you're going to want to share with your community, that's going to help you convert more sales, and you're going to learn what happens when you actually experience the creative activities and tapping into that right side of your brain. But today's video is going to focus on the first link that you're going to see. The first link that you're going to see is one of my digital products called the Content Repurposing Roadmap. This is a free download, and it's going to be a guide to help you repurpose and basically transform your best content into what the search engines like to call fresh content and repurpose it into new platforms. This roadmap is going to show you how to breathe new life into your content and reach a wider group of people, all while saving you some time and definitely loads of effort. So look for the link below in the description box, and so you can download your free content repurposing roadmap. So let's get started today talking about repurposing. Repurposing is especially good for those of you who are just so tired of constantly struggling to create fresh content for your business. And I get it. I totally get it. It's like a content creation treadmill, and it can be exhausting. I know. I create content and consistently do it every single week, so I get it. It feels like this never-ending cycle. You got to brainstorm, you got to create images, you got to record content, you got to publish here, you got to share it there. The pressure with the keep up with it is it's just enough to help you feeling burnt out. It makes sense to me why so many people will go and be so consistent, and then you'll go to their social media profiles or platforms and you'll see this message about them saying, I'm going to be taking a social media break. It has everything to do with creating content on a consistent basis. It's like sometimes content is like a bucket, but it's a leaky bucket because no matter how much content you pour into it, it never seems to fill it up. It always wants more and more and more. So that's why we talk about repurposing. And that is especially why I want you to download the Content Repurposing Roadmap so that you can learn how to take this existing content that you already have and figure out a way that you can save time. You could do more with less and reach more customers online. So take a look at that roadmap. Like I said, below you're going to see the link where you can download it, and it's going to give you the steps to rework your content and save you amazing amounts of time every single week as you're moving through your content creation. And it's also going to help you get past that point where you're not going to find yourself in overload, that you're not going to find yourself in burnt out mode, and you're not going to be going, okay, this is my time to take a social media break. So there's all this stuff that's going on with repurposing, but one of the things I want to focus on today are the common mistakes that people make when it comes to repurposing their content. And I want to talk to you about them, and I'm also going to give you some tips about how you can avoid this. So the first mistake that I see this a lot, is they don't adapt the content for each particular platform. Let me give you a really great example here. So let's say you've got this amazing blog post and it's getting a lot of traffic. You're sharing it on Pinterest and you're getting a lot of traffic. So you know that this is good content. You know that this is valuable and something that people are interested in. But you want to share this on Facebook too. But you can't just copy and paste your entire blog post on there. And you don't want to just put like 3 sentences on there. Because, what is it that they say? Not all content is like one size fits all type of thing. So each platform, each format has its own unique, algorithm, has its own unique way of dealing with hashtags and keywords. It has its own unique of the way that the consumers, the audience, the target word, fill in the blank, whatever word you want to say, the community actually consumes it. So what you want to make sure that you're doing is you are adapting your content for each type of program or platform that you want to use. That wonderful detailed blog post needs a little bit of a touch when you're trying to squeeze it into a tiny Facebook post. You need to think about adapting it here. You want to think about how you can make your content fit into the format that you're using. And sometimes you want to do things like maybe change out the image, because if you're on a site like, let's say, Instagram is very visually focused. So it would make more sense for you to be promoting that blog post by making sure that the visual itself gives maybe some key points. Maybe you create like a carousel of images that you can create, some bullet points from your blog post. And then the last image can say something about how, click my link in the bio, so that you can read the entire blog post. So you want to make sure that what you're doing is you're taking that content and adapting it to whichever format, platform that you are using. And you're speaking that language. You're using the keywords. You're, definitely working with your search engine, your hashtags. That's the word I was looking for. And so when you're able to adapt your content like this, instead of just cutting and pasting and just plopping the whole thing in there, your message stays more connected to the platform that it's on, to the community that's consuming it, and your efforts will actually see better results when you're doing this. So another mistake that I see, and I will raise my hand and say that I am guilty of this before I really understood what repurposing was. I probably I want to say maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, used to do this. I'm openly admitting that I did this. So I get it. I get why people do this, but I'm here to tell you why this is a mistake. It is over repurposing it. I mean, I get it. So, here I am, the last video that I talked about and today's video I'm talking about, I've got a whole digital download for you to, talking about repurposing. Repurposing is a really great way for your content to go like that extra mile. But, and it's a great big huge honking but here, there is a thing about overdoing it. If you are constantly recycling the same content over and over and over again without adding anything fresh value, without anything, a new image, new headline, new hashtags, new sentences, anything like that, you're just cutting and pasting because you are in content creation burnout, you will risk the opportunity that you could have reached new people, and the ones that you are currently reaching are gonna get tired of it. I mean, think about this. Think about it from this perspective. Would you watch the same TV episode every day? I mean, when you first watch it, it's like super funny. And then you show it to your friends, or you show it to somebody in your family, and you watch it again. And it's like, oh, this is so funny. And you both are laughing and you think it's really great. So then you watch it the next day because it's still super funny. But then by the end of the week, now you've watched it 7 days, 8 days, 9 days. Is it still funny? Is it still wanting to see something you want to see over and over and over again? Or do you really just want to watch something new? So think of it like that. So when you keep sharing that content over and over again, this is really great. I'm going to share this with somebody else. I'm going to share it with somebody in my family, my friends, or whatever, just like with the TV show. But you don't want to see the same thing over and over and over again. And your community doesn't want to see the same content over and over and over again either. Because eventually they're going to get to a point where they're like, hey, didn't I see this before? You know, what are you doing? You're just like repeating yourself over and over again. And then what happens is they start to tune you out. They start to think that I can see your content coming down the feed. You're just going to show me the same exact stuff that you've always kept showing me time and time again. I'm not learning anything new. You're not sharing with me anything that I want to read or anything that I want to watch or anything that I want to see. And then they just scroll past it. So there is a thing about over repurposing, and you need to figure out what that balance is and repurpose wisely. And when I say about wisely, I want you to think about how you can add something new to it. Maybe switch out the images, maybe switch out the headlines, switch out a couple of the words. You know, I promise you that when you change it up like that, your community will definitely notice, and they will most likely be reading it and engaging with it more so than if they see the same thing over and over and over again. So the third mistake that a lot of people make is they forget to update, especially when it comes to your evergreen content. And I get it, you know, when you've got a blog post, and I have several blog posts that have done so well on Pinterest to the point that I don't even really need to share them anymore because they are the one that's driving my traffic time and time and time again. And all that I need to do is maybe create a new pin for it every now and then. But you want to take a look at that content. And that's what I did with several of those blog posts that were driving that content for me. I went through it and I had to update it. There's one particular piece of content that I'm talking about where I talk about 15 social media things that you can do in 15 minutes. So what I ended up having to do is go through that blog post and update it. You know, very simple things like Twitter is now X. You know, some of the things that I were talking about, some of the features that were there with certain social media platforms are no longer there. So then I had to update it like that. So when I'm driving all of this traffic to my website, to this blog post, and I'm continuing to share it from Pinterest, and I'm sharing it from some other platforms like LinkedIn, I want to make sure, just like you want to make sure, that you provide some necessary updates. Because if you don't, and they're reading through this and they happen to see, you know, well, doesn't she know? I mean, how am I supposed to trust her and think that she's credible if she doesn't even know that Twitter is called X now, or she doesn't know that this, you know, platform doesn't use that feature anymore? And so you want to make sure that your content is current and relevant to what you were talking about. And especially, like I said, with evergreen content. You know, the thing about evergreen content is it's the topic itself that makes it evergreen, not all of the bullet points in it. So the topic itself, let's go back to my blog post. The topic of the 15 social media ideas that you can do in 15 minutes, that topic is still important because it saves you time. It shows you really quick things that you can do with your social media marketing, you know, and it gives you something to do when you're not really sure how to keep moving forward with your social media. But when I got down to the individual ideas themselves, several of them needed to get updated just because social media changes. Social media platforms, you know, change features, they change names, they do all kinds of different things. Sometimes they close down. So you want to make sure that you don't have outdated content on a great piece of, you know, evergreen content. And so when you think about it from this perspective, you're repurposing it, but you're making sure that as you're repurposing it, that it still has value and it still shows you and your business as a credible and a trustworthy source of information for people, you know, so they can continue moving through their process and looking at you as an option of somebody that they want to work with, somebody that they want to buy from, somebody that they want to, you know, join your community, and so on and so forth. So I want you to think about these mistakes with regards to how you can add these into the content strategy that you're developing. And when you think about this, your audience will always stay more engaged, and your value will increase on various different formats and platforms when you are utilizing a really great and strong repurposing content workflow. That's the word I'm looking for. So remember, here's the mistakes. Let me repeat them really quick. You want to adapt. You want to make sure you don't overdo the repurposing, and you want to take a look at your evergreen content, the one that is super strong, the one that you are definitely going to want to repurpose, and make sure that it is updated. Because I can tell you that when you you do all of those things with your repurposing of your content, especially when you pull these steps into your workflow, your community will thank you, and your content creation process will thank you as well. And I'm going to thank you too. So I'm going to thank you so much for joining me today with this creative process. If you've enjoyed this content about creativity, I hope that you'll consider subscribing to this channel. And if you're ready to dig into the deep work of developing your content marketing strategy, the link is below for you to subscribe to the Create Your Business program. In that program, you're going to stop saying, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do with my marketing messages. And you're going to get your interactive workbook in your inbox every month. You're going to get your creative tools showing up at your front door. And you're going to know, with all of this information, what you need to do to come up with your marketing messages and to see results. So don't forget to download the content repurposing roadmap below. You'll see that link, and you'll get 5 steps in this. I'm going to walk you through how to repurpose your content effectively. Plus, I'm going to dig into these mistakes like I talked about today and give you some best practices to maximize your content's impact. You are magnificent, my friend, and let me be the first to say, I'm proud of you. Until next time.